Hello and welcome to another edition of Luminar Coffee Break. I'm your host, Vanelli. Now, I'm coming live from Orlando, Florida, where I decided to take a couple days and work on a few projects, which I can't wait to show you guys next week. So we'll see those coming up pretty soon. All right, now, our topic today is how to create beautiful black and white photos fast and easy. All right, so let's dive right in. So here's a photo of Olive. So it's not my little girl, my little Piper. This is another rescue kitten named Olive. This is a before and after image. So here's before and here's after. Now I want to show you how I quickly created this. So I'm going to come over here to the history tool and let's come down to the bottom. So here's the original image. Now, when you're photographing children and pets like this, typically you need to photograph, you need to shoot a little bit wide because they're moving all over the place and it's easier to crop afterwards. If I tried to make this perfect like this, I'd be there all day because she was quick. So here's the crop that I did. Now, we have a couple options. When you're editing something like this, you have to decide the order in which you want to apply the crop. I have no problem applying the crop afterwards, but I like doing the crop just as I'm about to start my edit because it gets rid of all the distracting elements behind me. Not to mention the fact I can still use a template, which I'm going to show you, and it's not going to affect the crop. All right? So we're here. Now we could easily just come in to the black and white tool, convert it to black and white, and start making adjustments from here. But honestly, why reinvent the wheel? Under templates, there's a pack called Amazing Animals. I absolutely love this particular template. So now what I'm going to do is take this template, make it my own, and after I make it my own, I'll save it as my own template, and from this point on, I'll just click on it, tweak it for each individual images, and I'm good to go. So, first step is find a template that you like, and for this particular one, I chose this. Now I'm going to come to the edit, and before I go any further, I'm going to look at this and think, okay, well, I know there's a vignette on this. So let's look what they did with this vignette. Now this is interesting. It's the first time I've seen somebody go to 100% negative on the amount, which if you go to the opposite way, it's all white. They've gone to a negative, and this is the first time I've seen this. 100 on feather. And I like why I see why they did it. This way, it spreads it across the image. Now, what we are going to do is choose where I want that to be. So I want it right about there. See, so that's pretty cool. So I could pick the center point anywhere I want, and I choose to this one right here. Right there. Good, I like that. And FYI, under this mode, you have post-crop and pre-crop. Stick to post-crop. This way, if you make any changes, the edit will go with the change. All right? So, or the crop will go with the change. All right, so I have that set. It's still not looking as rich as what I want it to. So I'm going to come over here to light. And I want to adjust the black point. There we go. Now it's getting there. And if I do black, I want to increase the white just a bit. And an image like this loves contrast. So I'm going to decide which way I want to go. Ooh, I like that. Or I can go backwards to make it flat. Let's come this way. Good. Now, in doing this, notice I'm losing some light into the kitten's face. So let's come back over here to vignette. And this inner light, I want to pump it up just a little bit. That's great. I like where that's at. And then I got a few more other little tricks up my sleeve. Now, for this particular template, they used a LUTs called Animal Black and White. Now, here's what's cool. Once we save this, that Animal Black and White LUTs stays with a new template you created. So we have this set, and I do want to add lots of detail, which they did, and I like what they did here. They increased large and the medium. I'm going to move it up a little bit more, but they did something different. They took the small details and made it a -20. So don't, when you're sharpening an image, don't just think everything has to be a positive like this, because look how over sharpened that looks. But by doing a negative value, it's taking the minute details and like right in here, and it's just giving them less emphasis than they are on the larger and medium ones. Good, so I like where this is at. Now I want to tailor this to my style. I'm going to come way down here to optics, advance, ready for this. Now I wish I shot this with a wide angle lens. Since I didn't have one, let's create an effect like it. Well, I like it right about there. Ooh, look at that. Before, after. Look how that wide angle lens just makes it jump right at you. So that looks good. Now, I'm at a good stopping point. I'm still going to make a couple more changes to this, but right now, this is a good point for you to come down here and save this. So now I just saved this as my own template. Remember I mentioned the face was a little dark? Well, I'm going to come over here to the local mask, and I'm going to add basic. And I'm going to take the shadows and increase the shadows just a bit. Notice how I'm opening up the shadows on the face here and on the body. So here's before, here's after, a little extra to it. Now, why didn't I add that into the template? That's an extra, in my opinion. That's a little extra, something I would do later. You know, I didn't want to put these on all the images. This particular image called for it. So when you create a template, try to find the common denominator that would look good on all the images, and then later, you know, add on other stuff. So the easiest way to create a black and white is by starting with a really good template you like. Then once you create that template, make it your own. It's right here. Let me rename it. Animal Black and White. Let's say Vanelli version 2. All right. So we made it our own. Now let's look at some of these images here where we could apply them. I like this one. Okay. So again, decision. You know, do we from here start with a crop, or do we start with the template? Now here's what I was getting at. Let's say I started with the template first, which is fine. There it is. So there's the template. And then if I come in here for the crop, let's bring this way in. There we go. And good. Here it is. Thank you, Kevin. All right, so we got this in here, and we did our traditional come down here. Now notice I don't have to go back and make any of these other changes that we did earlier, which is really cool. Now what I can do in a case like this, let's say, is I want to bring the highlights down just a little bit. There we go. And the optics. That looks great. I can dial it back just a little. Right there. Okay, so now we did the crop. We did the crop after we applied the template, made a few changes. Now, my good buddy Kevin over here comes along and says, hey, Vanelli, guess what? I changed my templates again. Let's just say I'll grab this one here. So I grab a different template. Now look what just happened. The changes that I made, the crop stayed, but the other changes I made in the history are now overwritten. All right? So, or if I wanted to start over again and I come here down to the original, well, the crop is up here. Well, if I wanted to start at the crop, I can't because look where I put the template. So if I start with the crop first here, I can put as much stuff on top as I want. So let me get back to it. I want to show you one more trick. So let's do a UPS driver drove by, and just as he drove, poor Olive got freaked out. So, so he's staring at the UPS driver. So let's go to edit. I wish I videotaped this photo shoot. And by the way, this was during COVID when it was hardcore and we weren't allowed to photograph models. Fuji sent me this beautiful camera to experiment with for portraits. And the only models I had was my other kitten or cat, Scrappy and Olive. All right, so here we are. So we cropped in. I like how that is. Now let's go back to the template and apply the template I just created. Oh, look at that. Edit. Let's come to light for a moment and highlights. Just dial that down just a bit. There we go. And one last little trick I wanted to show you. I can come over here to the black and white tool. And ready for this? Not saturation, but we're going to change the luminosity or the luminance of the actual colors. So let's see what is red. Probably his nose. Yep, sure enough. So his nose is red. Let's darken it. Yellow. So yellow's in the background. See how I'm doing that? Let's darken that a little bit. We already know what's green. So I can make the greens a little sharper or darker. Cyan. Here's blues. Blues are found for Olive in Olive's fur. Look at this. So I'm going to dial that in just a bit. And a magenta, yep, it's on the nose again. There we go. Before, after. But look what I just did here with this. Now, I didn't add this to it because if I did, then all the images will have these fixed, the fixed values of them. That's why up in here, one more, there we go. AI is the way to go. And the purpose, and the reason why AI is great for all of your templates is that with AI, it automatically reanalyzes all your images. And once it reanalyzes it, it'll go up to, like in this case here, up to 47. So it knows enough that if it needs it, it applies it. If it doesn't need it, it doesn't apply it. Whereas if I saved all of this into a template, then it's going to be fixed, and those numbers are going to be fixed no matter what if it needs it. So stuff like that I like to do afterwards, and I mean I just love this image of him. Beautiful image there. All right, let's see if I can show you guys. But if you're part of the Luminar X, check it out on Skylum.com in the marketplace. A lot of these are included in your Luminar X membership. All right? Kevin, it's always great to have you here. Thank you so much. Awesome. All right, guys. Kevin, you know I'm horrible at keeping secrets. Yeah, okay, I'm horrible at keeping secrets. So I want to show you guys something that we're going to be working on next week. Here it is. So Kevin, you know, I've been experimenting with macro photography and water droplets. So next week, we're going to experiment with this. So here's a good example. Oh, I love this. So here's a good example. This is the shot. However, I created this template. Oh, look at that. So I created that template for it. And because water droplets are extremely unpredictable, let me get to the top, we have to use the erase tool. And I got to tell you, this erase tool here became my best friend during this photo shoot. There we go. And erase. So I didn't want to show you guys this yet, because again, it's something we're going to work on next week. I want to showcase it and give my honest opinion on how I got these shots. Look at that. I love it. How I got the shots and what are some of the tricks you could do to go from this to this in a short time. All right? So make sure you guys stay tuned for that. And if you're not part of the Skylum community on Insiders, make sure you join it. It's insiders.skylum.com. There's a wealth of information over there. And a lot of the episodes that we're doing are actually Zoom sessions where it's interactive. So here we try to do interactive, but we can only do so much with the chat. On Insiders, it's Zoom, and we're able to talk to people face to face because they turn on their webcams and their mics. All right? So guys, hey, let me know what you think about the macro shots there. And also in the comments below, let me know what you think about starting with a template, beefing it up, saving it as your own. So if you have another way of doing it, please put it into the comments. And if you have suggestions for the next show, as always, we're welcoming them. All right? Well, guys, thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you at the next coffee break.